Hello everyone and welcome to the stream today. My name's Brian. You can find me at MTG 2020 on all the various accounts. Monday, we finished up our playthrough of Last of Us Part 2. That was a lot of fun. That last episode, I am going to just say, is kind of a bummer. That's just the way that game ends, is kind of a bummer. Tomorrow, of course, is the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 that everyone is looking forward to. So on Friday, we're going to be streaming the early parts of Cyberpunk. I'm excited to get into that. I have heard there is a bit of controversy around the game at the moment, so that might be impacting things a little bit. Who knows? I have a backup plan if that ends up being the case. I'm kind of waffling between I really want to play it and I want to stream it, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to stream it because of some of the things involved. So I have a backup plan if I decide to go that route, but we're most likely going to be streaming it on Friday. Otherwise, we're back to some Arena today. We're going to be starting off with a draft, because I haven't drafted for a little while, not since the last time I streamed Arena, which was several weeks ago. And then I'm going to hit up the ladder afterward. So we'll try both some standard and some historic to see where the ladder's at the moment. So, might as well just get things started here. I have not decided if I want to go Kaladesh or if I want to go Zendi. I think I want to go Kaladesh, just because I'm having more fun with it still. I don't know why that still had the deck list brought up there, but it did. Just go ahead and take something off of here really quick. Take that away, take that away. And we'll take off that win-loss because we're not really caring about that right now during draft. It's pretty self-explanatory. When it comes to laddering, I mean, I've played maybe, I don't know, one draft and 3 other matches over the past month on Arena, so it's been a while. Ladder stuff, we're pretty low in the ladder as a result. We're down in like silver or something, or gold, I don't know. Got to get back there. Haven't really checked out what the new meta is either. Haven't really checked out decks lately, so I'm going to be throwing back good old mono blue tempo for historic because it's just a deck I always feel is solid. And goblins and control and Sultai are kind of the main ones right now, so it'll fit right in with those for the most part. I always felt I had a decent matchup with goblins with that deck, simply because there's so much red hate and blue. Ooh, rock is real good. We're gonna flag that. Glimmer is one of the probably the best draw spell you can get here. Pima Outriders are just super solid. But yeah, we're gonna be rocking that, and then for standard, I'm gonna pull back the old black-green mess that I haven't touched for a long time. So if we're going rock, we want to go a little bit more energy heavy. A lot of people go red-white is fairly common. I might try and go red-green energy. I mean, sorry, white-green energy. Man, back in the days when a 3/3 flyer for 4 was considered a good payoff. Alright, since we're on that, the Rhino is real good. Puzzle Knot's okay. Yeah, this is just fine. It's 4/4 flyer, so we don't mind that one bit. It's a big old flyer. Visionary's fine. A lot of times, depending on the deck you're playing, it usually ends up being a 4/3, but some good red cards in this pack. I feel bad about getting rid of. The Mastodon is fine. I think we want to keep with this energy thing, though. Even though we're going to be signaling the white's fairly open. Ooh, Long Tusk Cub. Glennis solid, Harness Lightning solid. Hopefully a Sage comes back around, but we're definitely just taking the Long Tusk. Voyager if we wanted to go 3 colors. Tempted to take the Mammoth just because it's good. Druid of the Cowl's also pretty good. Yeah, we don't mind 2-drop ramp. Resto Specialist. Decent 2-drop. Good chance we're going to have good artifacts for it to bring back. And if we can enchantment out of it too, that's just extra. Main thing is I want to stick to these energy synergies because you have to go fairly heavy into them to make it work. See, as I said, this Aetherstorm Rock is just a beating. Okay, nothing energy payoff here. Servo, I think it's fine. Artisan is just fine. Solvent's not really doing anything for us. There are definitely some go-wide synergies here, too. Unbridled Growth is fine. That lets us splash into another color pretty easily. Yeah, at this point, really just looking forward to Kaldheim. Of course, even without having paper magic for the most part, things feel fairly stale. Just want to make sure. Conviction could be okay with some of the stuff we have going on. It's more of a combo card too. Ooh, okay. There's some fun little interactions you can have with recasting Conviction a whole bunch of times. Glad we got the Sage back. Nothing here. We also would splash for a Harness Lightning. It's so expensive to draw that one card. So friggin' expensive. Ooh, Bristling Hydra. Yeah, that's pretty decent. It's a good payoff card for us. And there's really not much else in here. So Hydra is pretty easy pickup. Hydra can kind of win the game on its own. So the question is, Higher Spire Infusion, that's probably coming back. Hunt the Weak is good removal. Animation modules, okay. You can create lots of servos. It gets expensive. But we can make us have more. Man, that's actually a hard choice because that gives us more energy. And it's an engine card. I really like the hunt, but I like having the engine card. Aether Hub is pretty good. Yeah, in this case, we're just going to take the fixing. Tiger is real good. One of the best green commons. It's your general 6/6 creature. Aetherflux Reservoir is hilarious. Probably not really castable, but Maulfist, I think, is where we're going with that. Impeccable timing's not terrible either. Maulfist definitely helps though if we're going for additional +1/+1 counters, anything like that. Consulate Turret's not bad, but we're gonna go Aerial Responder. turret definitely does do what we're doing. Glint Sleeve is just solid. Appetite's also solid to have. We already have a Druid of the Cowl, so I don't really think we need another. I think I'm going to go to Glint Sleeve. A lot of times it's coming out as that 2-2 with a 1-1, but sometimes you just need a 3-3 for 3. Thankfully, we have quite a few things that get +1/+1 counters already, so we can do a little bit more with the animation module. Wouldn't mind more, though. But yeah, all in all, this second pack has been really good to us. We're getting a little bit more of that high end. Wouldn't mind having one more tiger. Built to Last is decent, but we're not really playing the artifact creatures. Yeah, nothing really here we need. If that was a +1/+1 counter, that card would be a lot better. High Spire Infusion, we will definitely take that. So yeah, as far as energy payoffs go, we're looking pretty good. Be really funny if we suddenly got like an Aetherworks Marvel or something. And another Revolutionary seems decent. Revoke Privileges is always good. That's just solid removal in this set. Sage is probably coming right back around. Comball is fun, but we're not really going to play it. So we're just going to get another Maulfest. Go heavy into this counters. Alright, now here's the question. Do we want to splash? Seeing that there's nothing else really here that makes us super excited, I think I don't mind taking this as a splash card. Could have taken one earlier too. And we got another card that's decent for a splash. Yeah. So we're going to be able to. We have plenty of fixing. Multiple Unbridled Growths, probably only going to do one of them. And then we have an Aether Hub. So yeah, we're looking decent. I would not mind seeing another, oh geez, and I'm blanking on the name of the card. The blue draw spell that costs 4. That's A-Tail Hawk is real good here. Aether Hub. Hub is fine. Serpent is one of my favorite cards in this set, but it's not great for this deck. Revolt we're never going to trigger. I think we just want the Hawk. Turtle doesn't really do much, unfortunately. Take the Appetite just in case. I might play it. Yeah, there's nothing really here. Yeah, Illusionist Stratagem, if it wasn't just your creatures or creatures you control, I think it'd be a lot better, but as such, I don't really think it's very playable. Inspired Charge. I mean, I always like cards like that, but in the wrong kind of deck for that. We're not super go wide. Yeah, sure, let's grab one of them. Make finding our blue sources that much easier. Don't mind playing multiple sages. Doesn't really matter what we take there. Elephant's just big and beefy, so we're going to take it. We already have a High Spire Infusion. Probably only going to play one of those ever. There are definitely decks that you want to play multiple, but yeah. It's definitely a card that if I have, say, the Hydra out, it's really good because it protects the Hydra really, really well. Alright, so that leaves us with 16 land, and we need to cut a couple cards. Definitely cut him. Cut a Puzzle Knot. $16 lands, 41 cards. Yeah, we can try this. I was like 41 card special. Generally, I do run 17 land when I do that, though. Yeah, let's cut that. That seems safer. Except for we're going to go 8 forests. Oh, we got the Bob Ross lands in here. Yes. So good. Such happy little trees. Okay, let's see where this takes us. Oh man, it was crazy. So, have a play group, the normal LGS play group that finally talked them into doing some Magic over Discord. And it worked out just fine, but it was crazy. This is the first time I played Paper Magic since March. I forgot how good it feels to like hold and shuffle cards. Yeah, this hand's fine. Lead off on the Cub. Ooh. That's a decent card. Basically, we're telling our opponent, kill this Cup now. This is your one opening. There we go. That was actually a very good draw because this is going to make me some energy. So I think we're just going to attack and High Spire Infusion. So that'll give us a ton of energy. That way, once we get another mana, this Bristling Hydra is going to be real good. It's going to be very difficult to deal with that. You are not the mana we were looking for. Eh, whatever, that's fine. We'll go ahead and put another counter on that. Three, 4 flyer ain't nothing to scoff at in this environment, to say the least. Like, the main thing I'm worried about out of blue-black is the gigantic demon. And I say gigantic, it's only a 5/5. Okay, our goal is to not allow our opponent to get 7 mana. Alright, now we have a pretty much unkillable Hydra. Sadly, Hydra does not have trample, so he's going to be able to chump quite a bit. And the one downside is if he plays something with Death Touch. Okay. That's fine, it doesn't fly. So I think we go attack, play the Eddy Tail, play the Shielded Ether Thief. And we can pump the Hydra up real big. I'm gonna let him attack into the Hydra as opposed to blocking and trading with a whole bunch of things. Die young. That's annoying. Our opponent is out of things though, so we're fine. Almost kind of wishing that I had kept the other one. Or taking the other Aether Hub. So we can pump that 5 times. Still not enough though. He'll have to block with pretty much everything. Next turn though, Revolutionary. Okay, so we can pump a whole lot of times. Not really sure if I want to trade that, but... yeah, he's going to take the trade. I mean, he kind of has to. Glimmer of Genius. That's a card I couldn't remember the name of. Best draw spell. So this universal solvent, he's going to be able to crack it to kill something eventually. Oh, that's not nice. So we can pump that 6 times. He doesn't have enough, so we need to start tagging. Next turn we can pretty much attack with everything. He's going to hold up this solvent, probably. But I want to draw a card. It's pretty good. Pretty good start for the deck. Definitely was lucky to have that Aether Hub in the opener. That helps. Because as you can see, the cards that really pulled their weight were the blue cards. Yeah, that's fine. Gives us access to our blue. We can always ditch this later. Probably play the Sage next. Ooh. Yeah, Sage into Long Tusk. That way it has a little bit more protection. True with blue-green, so far we're not worried about dying from damage. Tempted to play this Sculptor, but I think we need to go and just be on curve. See if he attacks and offers trade. Nope. Is he thinking about double blocking? Kind of hilarious. This is pretty much what I want him to do. Oh, courage. Okay. Well, that's a card that people shouldn't play. That is what it is. That card is just not good. Alright, he has the tiger, which is a little bit scary. We're not drawing land, which is a problem. You attacking with your flyer? There we go. I think we're going to end up sacking this Unbridled Growth if we don't draw a card, or don't draw land. Okay, that's helpful. So we go that for land. Get the blue land, we can sack the other. This just lets us block that. Yeah, I think that's fine for the time being. Get that happy little island. Question is, am I willing to trade off this long tusk cub? I'm gonna say no. Alright, we might be in enough of a stall here, which is kind of nice. This flyer is going to get annoying eventually. So we do have to take care of it. Or put out a bigger flyer. For now, though. So at least this cub can get big enough to kill off anything he has. Nope. No longer. That's a very good card to have right now. We're experiencing a very slow death. Okay. It's decent. So that gets back the other thing, buys us a little bit more time. I go attacking with big things in the sky. Sure. I like this. And this Unbridled Growth basically becomes 1 mana draw card. Need to put an appropriate clock to force him to attack us. And we are going to get 2 out of it. Refiner's a good draw there. Question is, does he get really aggressive and come after me heavily here? We will find out. Alright, that was not good draws. Could have been much better. So we need to send that. We need to send... trying to think damage-wise. 4 damage over and then the rest next turn. So we're going to send that. We're going to send that guy. So this way we have much better blockers for what he sends at us. Pump the Cub 3 times, the Tiger once. Renegade map is not a good draw. In fact, that's a very bad draw. So yes, take care of my Hawk. Okay. Okay. He has to block the Long Tusk here. There's no other option, otherwise he just dies. Yeah, so this other card in his hand is most likely a land. Renegade map could technically trigger Revolt. Trying to think of what Revolt cards would be an issue in these colors. Eddie Tail Hawk, always good. Let's keep running this pile of crap back, see what happens. That's an awkward hand. We are more likely to draw green mana eventually, and Shielded Ether Thief does help keep the fort down for a little while. So I think I'm okay with that. Let's make him think we're playing blue. Man, Aether Thief used to be a really good sideboard card back when its standard was around. Just shut down aggro decks real hard. 2 mana flash and eventually draw your cards. I miss playing that blue-red energy deck. Was so much fun. I don't mind just trading this for that bruiser. I'd rather keep the shielded alive. Rhino. And he has the Bob Ross lands too. That swamp looks really nice. That's a happy little swamp indeed. Okay. We are going to cast this. And I guess hold up this Highspire Infusion. Get some energy, draw a card with said energy. Yeah, it seems okay. This plains is definitely kind of meh. This island, though, looks real nice. Forest, it's okay. Coming at me, bro? You coming at me, bro? I know he's pretty full up, but we're gonna use it free. If we take some damage, we take some damage. Okay, that means he didn't have something for it. So we're fine. Man, I'm gonna hold off on that. Yeah, we can hold off. So we can already just give a +1/+1 or energy just to draw a card. I think we're just gonna get energy. Nissa Vital Force. Ooh, okay. That's an actual problem.
Magnificent world.
That's a real problem.
Rise, my elemental friend.
That is one of my favorite EDH cards of all time. Okay, that's an interesting attack there. So I think we're going to block, kill one of those, and then we have to attack at the Nissa. Man, I wish I had one more mana. that's a little bit late, unfortunately. We're going to be able to get a +1/+1, put a thing on there. Has to go at the Nissa. Thankfully, the other thing just loses menace. Okay, let's see if he gets greedy or if he just cashes out right away. I would just cash out immediately if I was him on that Nissa. With his board state, he has to cash out. Unless he wants to get something back. Could always just return a permanent and play it. Don't think that's necessarily the best play, though. But we'll see what he decides. Nice thing is this sculptor is going to get huge. Okay, High Spire, that's vaguely annoying. We will fabricate. That also means this Nissa is probably going to uptick on the land. What you gonna do here, buddy? Going to attack. Double block, draw a card. One less thing to attack in. And this is not going to quite die, though. Yeah, we're doing it. I get a draw card this way. Yep, our opponent screwed up.
When the land speaks, I shall
Which
listen.
is fine for me. Yeah, because I even gave them the unfavorable block. I should have just taken 3 there and not gotten rid of my servo, but you know, is what it is. I would just play this, do that. We have 1 up, or yeah, let's elephant. I think elephant's just better use of our mana there. If I had 1 more mana, then I would have gone this guy into this and adding counter. Alrighty. I mean, that one's worth attacking in and losing your servo for, but you know, whatever. Maulfist is pretty okay. So our opponent hasn't shown us any removal or combat tricks yet, so I'm guessing they just didn't have them. Them not keeping this Missile Vital Force is huge. They definitely don't have land in their hand, otherwise they'd be drawing cards. So they probably just have some bad creatures, like this Druid of the Cowl. Yeah, this Prakata Pillar Bug, not gonna do much. Use up all my energy because I know I'm going to be drawing more eventually. Speak of the devil. I think we are free to pretty much just go in. Gains lifelink. Okay. It's an interesting block. Yeah, I don't mind if you gain a little bit of life. You're still taking way too much more than you can handle. Go ahead and deck then. Oh, he finally found a land. Yeah, this Nissa Vital Force hasn't done him anywhere near as much good as normally it would have. He should have untapped, had it alive for one more turn. Alright, our opponent is pretty much just dead. Oh yeah, that is fun. Okay. We're just gonna send the team. GG, opponent. So we have 9 damage coming over. Possibly more, possibly 10. He has to have something really good in hand. He also could have fog. I guess there's a fog that's playable. Commence the festivities. Ooh, we have ranked up. We are now slightly less low tier silver. Getting there slowly. Woo! As I said, this is the first time I've been on the ladder in a long time. I did a draft a couple weeks ago. That was like the last draft I did. So we expect to be kind of at this low tier. Dealing with people that are either like me or are sitting there going, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Who knows? I like to think my account is a lazy smurf account. When I try, we'll be up in Mythic. All the rest of the time, down in Silver. Alright, let's see what we got next. I haven't seen any red-white. It's one I'm like very used to running into. This hand is okay if we draw any land. And I'm going first. I feel like this is greedy, but a long tusk cub on the play could just be good. Speak the devil, here's the red. Alright, long tusk cub, please stay alive. That's not a good way to keep that alive. Okay, we need to pretty desperately draw land now. You are not a land. Well, greed is probably going to be our downfall. Which is unfortunate. Oh, greed is definitely going to be our downfall. Man, that Mobile Sentry becomes a 5/5. Or a 5/6. That hurts. Oh, you're not going to pump the other point damage? You want a blocker? Okay, fine. Yeah, the Mobile Garrison is one of my favorite cards. There are just a lot of things you can do to abuse it. Yep. Screw this. Wasn't meant to happen. Just wasn't meant to be. Run it back. See if we can run into the same person and have mana problems right again. Sometimes you know when it's going to be bad right away. So that I probably would have drawn a land next turn. I could have started fighting into it, but yeah, too far behind. This, on the other hand, is eminently keepable. Can actually play spells. Well, you're off curve, but, you know, whatever. Tempted now to play... And no, it's just all off curve. I just take beats for a turn. Man, that's tempting. Yeah, I think we're just gonna take beats for a turn. Beats by Dre. I already gained life, so it doesn't really matter nearly as much. So far, we haven't had any color fixing issues. Which, of course, famous last words. Sure, he wants to use his whole turn to get 1 damage. I don't mind that one bit. think we are quite possibly on the go very wide plan. I do want to find some of our card draw here, though. As a definite must. Oh, wow, okay. Opponent had 5 cards left in hand. Must have all been land or something. Either that or they weren't finding their second color. That's more likely to the point. Just having a little bit of bad timing like we did last game. It's variance, it happens. I feel like the variance is, of course, worse on Arena than it is in real life, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, opponent goes first. We have 2 mana. We'll keep this, and we just have to hope to draw no more. Ooh, that is kind of a scary fast card. If I don't have things to block, but thankfully I'm going to have things to block. Yeah, I'll scry. Gonna find a land. Gonna find a land. That is not a land. Yep, do us some damage. You are not a land either. With the hope that we find a mana next turn for doing this plus a dude. We'll go ahead and trade. Perfect, just drew it up absolutely perfectly. Kinda wish I had more Seed Sculptors. They have been clutch. And our opponent just wants to draw all the cards. I'm a little bit scared that they're just going to have something huge to play. That's definitely not huge. Can get some counters, which is a little bit annoying. Ideally, I want to get this rock going. Ooh, okay. Attack, force him to use... He can use that twice. My Seed Sculptor would die in that case. I'm going to force him to use his energy. Actually, no, Seed Sculptor wouldn't die. What am I talking about? No, it totally would. I can only put one counter on that thing. Decline and see what he does. no, the Aetherstorm Rock is kind of a must answer. Interesting. We attack with that too. Yeah, we can attack with those guys. Can tap down that. He'll trade and take that, but that's fine. Does he have removal? No. As I said, that's fine. It puts him under a clock. Oh man, he has all the bad card draw. Like, I like the other two. These other two are great, but this thing is just way too expensive. And he's scrying? Okay, that's a desperation move right there. He's looking for something, anything to deal with this flyer. So you can pump the turtle multiple times. We're just setting up to attack, have too many 4/4s. And those are player or planeswalker, so they're pretty bad. Like, if it said you could do it to creatures, it'd be okay. GG, opponent. But even then, it'd be pretty steep. It's kind of cute to be able to, like, grow his turtle every turn, but not worth it. Too slow. Alright, we are 2 wins away from finishing this draft. Let's get there. Yeah, we can keep this. This curves nicely. Death touch, eh? Well, let's see which one you decide you want to kill. He's probably going to kill the rhino. Makes the most sense. Yeah, I should have made another energy. What ifs, what ifs. That was my bad. We're just gonna let the seed sculptor get real swole. Like, real swole. Fortunately, it does die to this most likely fatal push that's in his hand. But, you know, that's fine. If he has to use fatal push, he has to use fatal push. Nope, okay. Oh no. Krenko is love, Krenko is life. I don't trust it. I don't know what you're talking about. These sound like lies to me. Horrible, horrible lies. We can no longer attack. Jeff, I hope you know that I'm like 2 wins away from just, you know, winning out on this this draft, and hopefully it doesn't turn around. Oh, why you gotta do this, opponent? Now the second you showed up, I'm gonna start losing. I can just tell. Love you, buddy. My opponent understands. Yeah. Where's our white mana or mana in general? No. The only loss I've had so far, I lost to not drawing a land for like 3 turns and keeping a 2-land hand. So I was just like, nope, not even doing it. Kind of did a green-white energy deck, a little bit of blue mana in there. Okay, our opponent's not doing too much at least. Come on, land. Hoo-hoo. Have anything fun in here to get back? Nope, not yet. Pretty soon, we'll be able to show you what the rock is cooking. Yeah, so I've basically just been like writing these seed sculptors and making them huge with animation module. Animation module has... Oh, I'm glad you attacked that. Okay. Not my thing with the +1/+1 counter on it. Sure. Animation module has been very much the MVP of this deck. Hawk, Hawk, Hawk. Yeah, our opponent isn't very good, but then again, they're in silver like we are. You know, is what it is. Let's just go Tony Hawk. This thing can get real big, but it's sorcery speed, so I'm not too worried about it. We want more energy. Man, that's a very good card. Tusker is kind of scary. Thankfully, he's not just going to kill me here. What incarnation indeed. Yeah, I saw that meme with the dog. Just a cute dog with a cowboy hat on. Is that all you're sending me, Veron? That's all you're gonna send? Okay. That thing is dying. Do I kill anything else? No, I don't really care about it. We'll take 9. Yeah, I think after I'm done with this draft, I'm gonna... Oh, that's not nice. I'm gonna hit up the ladder for a little while. Actually, we can't even cast that right now. And not sure if I want to play Standard or if I want to play Historic. It's gonna be one or the other. Okay, so we got some damage coming at our face. He has to block the Servant. Or the Artisan. He has to draw something that deals with flyers. Because I'm not just dead on this swing. So, yeah, we're good. We good. Yeah, I haven't touched Standard in, like, I don't know, a month? Something like that? Okay, our opponent's just dead. GG. Like, I haven't looked at Standard, I haven't done anything with Standard, so I'm just gonna pull out a deck that I made a while ago and see what happens. Like, opponent, I'm not sure what you think you're doing here. Oh, the Teamer ramp deck with Obosh. Ooh, we're in silver tier 2. Oh, not the deck with Obosh. Okay, a different Teamer ramp deck. I assume you're just still Genesis ultimatuming people's faces. Genesis Ultimatum is always a good way to go. Players with mythic orange names are team members. Okay. Good to know. I don't know if I've ever come across an orange named player. I know on Moto I played against dev people, but not on Arena. Yes. Good old Snake. Snake is love, Snake is life, and if you're playing ramp, you need Snake. Anytime now. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the packaging for Kaldheim yet. Some leaks went out. The packaging for the collector's booster, there's a hammer with lightning on it that very much has kind of that... So that latest secret lair that was all the like band photos, or the band posters, the hammer kind of looks like one of those. So I'm wondering if the kind of showcase cards for Kaldheim are going to be kind of that band art style thing, which I think would be appropriate for like Vikings. Like doing heavy metal stuff would be very appropriate for Vikings, but at the same time, I mean, we saw that Nature's Lore. My problem with those cards is they just aren't very legible. Oh, what is going on with my stream health here? Dipping down in the red for a second there. Oh no, Bomat Courier. That's like actually just terrifying. Yeah, wasn't Nature's Lore the one that was spoiled? I could be wrong. Yeah, let me pull up spoilers really quick. I want to say it was Nature's Lore that got spoiled. In the drop from Hipsters of the Coast. Okay, Hipsters of the Coast. It was during a big spoiler drop on their Twitter like a week ago. Whole bunch of stuff that people hadn't seen yet. back. We're going back. Yeah, there's the Nature's Lore art. It was the same time that all those dual lands were shown. The Secret Lair Ultimate stuff. There we go. Nature's Lore, Sorcery. Copy image. Let's see if I can drop it really quick. Nope, that will not actually drop. So I'm just going to send this to you personally. On the old Facebook. Okay, back to the game. Yes, we're taking action. Yes, we're getting a land. We are kind of land flooded. That is to say the least. Plus side, though, this Bowmat Courier is not doing much. Yeah, all the EDH green ramp. People are definitely getting some favorites. Now if we can just get like an alternate full art Sakura Tribe Elder. Oh, really? Do we have to keep trying land here? Come on, deck. Yeah, JSS Steve is pretty cool. Ouch. I think we have to do this, unfortunately. Need to hope to draw something decent here. That is not what I wanted to draw. Yeah, so this game's looking pretty bad. Need to, like, draw a Riparian Tiger or something. Even though that wouldn't survive this stupid puzzle knot. Sculptor. Well, we can hold the Bowmat at bay. And of course, because you mentioned the JSS Steve, we have to go back to being a show-off. And speaking of JSS Steves, that special foiling on those. You hate me, but I've had that one for a long time. Man, I'm so excited that new Titania should be showing up in the mail in a couple days. It's in the US now. It's no longer in Canada. Oh, yep, that is going to do it. GG, opponent. They have too much gas going on here. Yep, I don't res often, but I'm glad I got the one that I did. Okay. We have to run this back. We're so close. So close. 2 losses, 1 more win. We can get on this last one. It's fine. Man, and I am excited. So the shop unfortunately wasn't able to get any of the Commander Collection green premiums in. since we weren't a big enough shop. We only got the regular ones in. So I was hoping to get one of those through there, but ended up not being able to and having to order out the... this hand is... I guess we'll try this hand. Ended up having to order out the individual pieces, so like the stupid Worldly Tutor was like $50 for a foil one, which is unfortunate. But he was the most expensive card out of the group that I needed, so I needed that and I needed the Bane of Progress. Bane wasn't too bad. So that's 2 more foiled out cards for Titania that she didn't have before. I kind of wanted the Command Tower and the Soul Ring just because they were like green flavored. But no such luck. Yeah, that Commander Collection green really is... Oh, you're not land. Okay. That Commander Collection green really is basically just from the vault. There are some real spicy things in there. Oh yeah, Sign, Foil Judge. It's definitely in there. I was just thinking for one of my other green decks, for the Roshin deck that doesn't have a Foil Soul Ring yet. Same with the Command Tower, I don't have a... Oh, that's not nice. You're not a land? You're not a land at all. Yes. GPs. What are Grand Prix? I don't remember what those are. I mean, you never know. We might have a GP Vegas this year. It's like kind of a possibility. Not really, but kind of. Okay, We needed land here. He's gonna start attacking. I think we'll just stall. We're gonna play out this Purrsling Hydra soon, hopefully. Alright, you were not the land I needed. So if we go ahead and Unbridled, sack it, hopefully draw land. Then we get to get back with this Restoration Specialist. That was also not a land. Okay. So we're taking beats still. Yeah, I mean, we would have GPs if we had competent leadership in this country, but, you know, we can't have nice things anymore. That's just how that goes. Alright, so we might just be dead again. I think that's what's happening here. Because we have needed land pretty badly. Well, we'll see what happens. Yep, so it looks like we are not going to be getting to that win cap, and it's mostly been because of either Mana Flood one game or Mana Screw the other two, but is what happens. He's not forcing me to block... Oh, that's my attacks. Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't work that way with the stream, unfortunately. He's not forcing me to block. Okay. refresh this chat really quick. It's having a browser issue. Welcome to the chat room. Oh, still no land. Is there any way out of this? We can crack that, go to 9. Let's have a trampler, have a 5/5 to deal with. Yeah, no. That, unfortunately. GG opponent. Is what it is. We can survive for one more turn, but it's not gonna do us any good. Womp womp womp. That's fine. Just gonna open some packs now, so. And we went plus on it, so that's all that really matters. That's all you're ever looking to do is go positive, you know? Legion Angel, that card is so bad. It's seen play in like one mono white deck though, randomly. Paradox Engine, real fun card, but real not useful on Arena. Herald of Anguish. Another real good card, but real not useful in Arena. Well, outside of Limited. Highly doubt anyone's going to use that. Got a Mastery Pip. Okay, blue, white, or red? Yeah, mono white doesn't need all the help it can get, that's true. Do we want Royal Eruption? Into the Royal. Or Dauntless Unity? I feel like Into the Royal is a card I'm actually going to use. Oh, Engine is actually seen play in Historic? I haven't seen that. That would be interesting. I'd like to see Engine doing its thing. So it's a fun card. Okay, so Historic or Standard? Historic or Standard? I think I want to go see what Historic is up to. And we can always switch back over to Standard soon. If we get just hosed in Historic for a while. Nice thing about Mono Blue is the games are usually fairly quick. Kinnan combo sounds interesting. Yeah, we can keep this. This hand's fine. Counterspell's a flyer. Basically, if they don't deal with this flyer, then I'm okay. Gotta be careful, though, because there are a lot of black decks out there. They also could be on mono blue. Let's see what happens here. Sultai Paradox Engine. That looks spicy. That sure does. We want land, but we want a creature, but we want land. Okay. Let's get curious. I'm obsessed. Don't have to worry about run into a shark here. It's the one card I really gets me is when they cycle the Typhoon. Perfectly happy with that. So my opponent probably is on mono blue tempo also randomly, which is the first time I've run across this in a long time if that's the case. Otter Space Ghost. Oh, they're on a really weird version of it. If they're on it. See if he has Spell Pierce. Yep. Okay. It's vaguely annoying. We're just gonna put down the second Curious Obsession and go to town, I guess. That's a thing. Okay. So now we kind of have to worry about another Brazen Borrower. But we'll see what we draw. Storm Tamer definitely helps. These 17 different Storm Tamers, though, I'm not so sure about. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna chump block this Fairy Vandal for days. Yeah, blue is doing blue stuff right now. These two blue decks are bluing fairly hard. Let's see, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counterspells so far. Nope. Do you have another borrower? Seems like a bad way to use a Brazen Borrower, especially on their turn. Combat damage to a player. Yeah, we're not gonna let you grab that. Do you have another counterspell for me, friend? Or a third Brazen Borrower? Okay, we got a counterspell. That's fine. Currently, we're still outdrawing him by a lot. And we got Cutthroats. And, Storm Tamer number 4. Sure. So now this Storm Tamer is no longer gonna chump, I don't think. Nah, we can chump. So he's gonna be forced to use all of his mana to actually draw the card. So I think it's worth it. And he's forced to block Sailor with this Sailor. Graph Digger's Cage, this is my anti-goblins tech in the main board. Because why not? Let's see what happens here. Block and draw. And don't let me draw. It's pretty sure what's happening. Oh, he's blocking there. And he's letting me draw cards. Okay. That seems like a mistake. Seems like a big time mistake. Okay. Sure, opponent. My opponent apparently doesn't know how to mono blue properly. Which, I mean, I'll take that. We'll see where this goes. Oh, Curiosity. Okay, okay. Let's show him this. And let's show him this. Yeah, you can Curiosity all you want, buddy. I don't mind you drawing cards if you're dead. Sure. also playing Curiosity, which is fine, but I've found that the Octopus is so much better. Things I'm worried about, another Brazen Borrower. Okay, that's one card in hand. And a Trickster is a very good draw. So now it doesn't even matter if he has the Borrower. Has his own Trickster. Okay, he's gonna play that in response. Sure, why not? That don't really matter too much, my dude. You're like way too far behind. Alrighty, Grafdigger's Cage. Those can come out. That is for sure. Sea Dasher, not nearly as good when people are bouncing things. Trancing, Mysticals, Negates. Like, as much as I hate to take them out, Curious Obsession is not great in this one either. Essence is fine. Trickster is pretty needed. Lookouts are too expensive. Sleep is also too expensive. Sleep is more against like the big aggro decks. Also good for like just staying alive for a turn against goblins. But sleep definitely helps in the Gruul aggro matchup. Or back when it was kind of the mono green decks running around for a while. Haven't seen those in quite some time, but then again, I haven't really played Historic for a while. Yeah, this hand seems fine. So, I'm on the draw. We're definitely being a more proactive deck. If he attacks in with the Storm Tamer, I can always... Obsession. Good chance he has Spell Pierce. Or he could have Mysticals. Otherwise, he wouldn't be playing this Obsession. That's fine. We have to get those out of the hand anyway. Him having this early is very annoying, though. We need to get to 3 mana for this Entrancing real fast. Try and ambush with the Trickster. See if this works. Nope. So he's basically in Protect the Queen mode with this Siren Storm Tamer. Keep it alive as long as possible. But I think we are just going to attempt to make him force it right now. Yeah. Unless he has another Spell Piercer or Mystical, he just has to sack this. Or he could just give it to me? I'm very confused by that. he should have just sacked it? Like, I mean, that's fine. I still have a Siren Storm Tamer. I mean, my opponent doesn't seem just bad. I just don't know if they necessarily know what they're doing with the deck. Or if they're probably not used to the, they're probably not used to the mirror match either. Would be my guess. So I used to play the mirror match a lot, but it's been a while. No, it's fine. I mean, this deck has fallen way out of favor. People don't really play it anymore. So, them not knowing the mirror, I think that's fine. And a lot of it comes down to who can get the card advantage and who can stay on the card advantage. Like, right now, he's playing a more counterspell heavy variant, and I'm kind of playing into that. Just because he's behind on mana. So it's kind of my fault for playing into these things. But we're just going to keep trying to pressure. So if we can get one of these to stick, then we're good for a while. So Essence Capture is a little bit awkward. So I'm tempted to throw out this Trickster and then Essence Capture to get a counter on it. Only one Spell Pierce used so far. Extra layer of protection here. Alright, negate's pretty good. I'll take that. So I need to ask myself if I'm running into a Fairy Vandal with this. If I am, I am. If not... This negate just gave us extra answers. We're going to attempt to fight through this in a different way. This is showing my lack of patience going on here. So it gets the same result. The Fairy Vandal still goes back to his hand. Let's see if he wants to counter the Brazen. Yep, still countering the Brazen. So that means the Fairy Vandal's going to die at least. Unless he can draw another card, which there's a good chance he can. But it loses that ability. So, yeah, it's just dead. So that's an okay trade. I'd rather have the Brazen Borrower to be able to actually cast and be down with, but... As the conditional counterspell gets worse. See if maybe he dive downs his... Oh, no. Just gonna bounce that. Okay. Sure. Well... Vaguely annoying that he knows I have that now, but that's fine. Man, that's tempting. Yeah, screw it. So we gotta run him out of the counter spells eventually anyway. Yep. That's fine, we're still getting our Brandborn. And the Brandborn's pretty important because it's going to get big enough to outpace most of his things. Yeah, our opponent has just drawn every counterspell in their deck practically. Whereas we've had the much more creature heavy draw. And this Spectral Sailor is going to be huge. He's going to be huge. So it's going to let us just sit back and draw cards and be very happy about that. That's half the reason I blocked both his Spectrals early. So I knew if this went into a long game, those are super important. Now we have a ton of protection for this Brandborn. And I don't mind throwing a creature into this Brazen Borrower. Ooh, that's real tempting. Do we do that? Man, that's tempting. I'm gonna hold on to that. So the temptation is to take his Fairy Vandal and start making it huge with my own Spectral Sailor, but then I have to hope the Entrancing Melody doesn't get countered and at the same time use mana during my turn, which I don't necessarily want to do. And sometimes you're just gonna draw a million Siren Storm Tamers anyway. So, in that case, I think we're just gonna do this. See what happens. Okay, it's on. It's on. We are good to go. Okay, and it just gets better and better. Yep, my opponent is in a hard place here. It's going to get very rough for them very quickly if they're letting that happen. Brazen Borrower. I'm gonna say no to that. Probably should just use the Siren Storm Tamer there. But you know, is what it is. GG. Otter Space Ghost. Alright, let's run it back. More Alfredo. That sounds good to me. Okay. Do we keep the greediest hand imaginable? I'm going first. Oh, this is so greedy, but because I have this dive down, I kind of want to keep it. Screw it, we're doing it. Watch this Siren Storm Tamer get fatal pushed and then me not draw another island. I just have a feeling that is what's going to happen. Oh my gosh, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Oh, we're good to go. Okay. Free win mode engaged. Oh, and we can Sea Dasher. Oh, free win mode engaged. I'm a little bit worried about a Wrath of God because they have white mana. Yeah, they are definitely gonna Wrath. So I'm gonna draw cards while I can. The life gain from the Uro is really annoying. But it is what it is. That was actually a really good draw. Grab Diggers, yeah. Come on, counterspell. We need a counterspell. Neither of those were counterspells. Yeah, that's fine. Fully expect a Wrath of God right now. I should switch over to the Bob Ross Islands for this deck. Another Uro. Okay. They are very nice. So my opponent has double Uro'd. I have found the Graph Digger's Cage, which is nice. I'm a little bit worried, though, because I don't have an actual counterspell. And we're, like, overdeveloping the board a little bit. What just gets me for that many mana? I'm gonna hold up and not do this opt. Well, plus side, we're drawing a lot of creatures, so if he wraths, we just refill. And we do have another Sea Dasher, so we'll keep drawing cards. You're not a counterspell, and are you a counterspell? Please, please. Anytime, counterspell. You are not a counterspell either. No. Seal Away. Yep, I knew that was coming. That's why I didn't tap out for that opt. Yeah, Cage is a real big hit. So I do have to worry about Sealaways. I also have to worry about Settle the Wreckage, but we do have Siren Storm Tamers for that. So let's see, we got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Yeah, I'm still really worried about the, There's a Lofty. Okay, that's good. I'm still really worried about the Wrath, so we just mainly want a counterspell there. Oh, and he didn't do any of that stuff, so... Sinister Sabotage. Okay, so he saw us sell the Wreckage up. That's fine. Well, did you know I've been drawing 4 Siren Storm Tamers per game? So, good luck, sir. Oh god, it feels good to be Ancestral Recalling every turn. It feels so good. That's half the reason I love this deck, is it's just like, you're never out of cards. Oh, and we got 2 counterspells and more creatures. So much draw. So much draw. Yeah, like back when this deck was in Standard, I always loved it. It was my go-to Standard deck by far. And for Historic, it's kind of been my go-to deck too. Just because you get some new fun toys. Like Lofty Denial is just so perfect. Oh, we got a Tafifi. Oh, I'm gonna say no. Yeah, Lofty Denial is a really good one. Of course, Aether Gust has been great. Get some negates, get some mysticals, and get another Grafdigger's Cage. Seems good. So he's going to ramp, which makes some of my counter spells just worse. Tricksters aren't great. Essence Capture, I mean, it counters... Yeah, Essence Capture isn't great. Let's be honest here. We need one more card out. Dive Down saves us once. Yeah, don't really need the Dive Down. I think it's overkill. We could try an Entrancing Melody to take their Uro when we're at 5 mana. That'd be kind of funny. But I also think that's overkill. Aether Gust might not be terrible, but... Let's just run back this way. We have 3 Grafdigger's Cages, and we have plenty of counterspells to deal with Teferis, so... I mean, we have more counterspells and more interaction than they do. Almost guaranteed. It's time, nerd. Oh, God. Yeah, I know. It's so close. It's so close. So I'm a little bit sad because I did my pre-order through a company called like Enba or Inenba something, and it's a key for GOG, and like GOG is letting people pre-download Cyberpunk, but at the same time, this other company, they haven't released the key to me yet. They won't do it until tomorrow. So I'm like, I don't even get to pre-download it? That kind of sucks. Whatever. So I'm going to download the game tomorrow, pull the, like, 40 gig patch. This hand is not great, but we have a Graph Digger's Cage? Yeah, sure. Gonna, like, pull the 40 gig patch that's supposed to be there because that game sounds like it's broken as fuck right now. And then just play it for the first time on stream on Friday and hopefully have the nudity slider turned on, so... Ooh, 9 minutes ago. Nice. Need to turn on that nudity slider so when I'm creating a character, it doesn't just have a big dangly dong sitting there in the middle of the screen like that game is supposed to. So we're definitely holding this Brazen Borrower for something else good. Man, if it unlocked for you, then I need to check my key and see if they actually sent it to me. Because I'd rather not have that on Twitch, Jeff. Digital key. Yeah, mine just says digital key pre-ordered. It'll be delivered around the game's release date. Ugh. Then again, I did only pay like $45 for it, so I got a good deal. Sensor? Oh no. I got force spiked. How dare you force spike me? I should have just played out the Spectral Sailor. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, we're putting it there. Gonna diversify our threats here. Spell Pierce was a really good draw. Island was not. Yeah, like, I'm very excited for the game, but a lot of what I've been hearing in the run-up to it is that it's, like, broken on a Bethesda level of game being broken. Oh, what do we do here? Do we Spell Pierce it? Or do we Brazen Borrower and get a 3-3? I think I'm going to Brazen Borrower and get a 3-3. Seaway targets. Yep. Very baffling. Much end. Witcher 3 was fine. It doesn't sound like it had this level of brokenness to it. Like, this sounds like a special kind of broken game, to say the least. Okay, what's the chance that they have another Wrath to play into? They're dead over 2 turns either way. Guarantee 2-turn clock? Well, we're just gonna hold back. That, and also, since Witcher 3, I don't like some of the directions the CD Projekt Red has gone, unfortunately. What are you targeting? You're targeting there? Yeah, we'll cancel that. We still get to play a Brazen Borrower on the back end of this. Like, their whole trying to be edgelords just to be edgelords thing is real dumb. Real dumb. Man, they just don't want my thing to stay alive. Yeah, fine, whatever. Okay. Like, why didn't that happen? GG noob. And this is why you don't bring a control deck to a mono blue fight. It's like we didn't even have to try with that one. Yeah. That is true. At the end of the day, they are just trying to make money, but I don't know. They've had 5 years to work on the game, and one can say, "Oh yeah, it's pandemic year and all that." I think they should have. Honestly, as much as this, I hate to say this, I think they should have held the game back even longer, because when you're getting reports of there being problems with reviewers having epileptic seizures, based on the strobing patterns from parts of the game that, like, apparently the strobing patterns used in the game are very similar to what a doctor's office will use to actually induce an epileptic seizure, like pretty much the same kind of left-right patterns going on. And they have it in the EULA, but the EULA these days, it like pops up once and then goes away and doesn't show up again. Should have maybe put a giant warning there, you know? Just saying. Just saying. Little things like that we're like, I'm just hearing about this week as reviewers are getting their hands on it. A lot of T-posing, a lot of people like going out of screens. Just, you know, the fun stuff. Okay, they definitely have a fatal push for me here. Or a disfigure. Yeah, that's fine. Death Toucher. That's no fun. Yeah, I agree. People probably shouldn't pre-order things in this day and age. Yeah, I'm not sure where they took that damage either. I won't question it. Moto's just trying to help, or Arena's just trying to help me here, apparently. At the same time, though, like, the whole shouldn't pre-order argument, we're talking about one of the most hyped up games in how long? I mean, probably since, like, Fallout. It is all the hype. Probably shouldn't be making this trade, but it is what it is. Get to Sailor with the Lookouts Dispersal. I'd say since Fallout 4, 76 didn't really have much hype. Oh, Nyx Lotus? What is this? Mono Black Devotion? What's going on here? Okay. Sure. You get nothing out of this. We have an Octopus Sailor. That was... I should have kept it the Sailor. That was my bad. Okay, got rewarded. I don't know, it's just... It's been super hyped ever since it got... announced, and Cyberpunk is definitely one of those... Definitely one of those properties that people are really gaga over. The ones that really like it are really gaga over it. Deals 1 damage to that player. Okay, that's way too much devotion there, friend. And they didn't have... Okay, good. What are the chances they have another disfigure? Probably pretty good. It's probably gonna Sailor and Dispersal. They do have 1,000,000 mana, which is unfortunate. I mean, Jeff, they could be silver because they're like me and just don't play very often. That gives them more mana. So I'm going to say no to that. Use the Dispersal while we can because it just gets worse and worse as the game goes on, because they are definitely a big mana deck. Underworld Dreams, yep, that's fine. What else do you have in hand? Are you going to cast your last thing? Yes, maybe, no. Drag to the Underworld. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Underworld Dreams is actually going to be super annoying against me. At least it doesn't gain them life. Castles, okay. Castles are fine. He's just going to kill himself. My opponent desperately needs life gain here. Okay, sure. Pretty much guarantees he's dead. Alrighty, so I think we want negates. We want Trancing Melodies. Do we need the Gravediggers? I don't think we do. I want to keep the 1 dive down. Keeping the Essence Capture because I have a feeling Garys are going to be coming along. Get rid of the Dispersals. Entrancing Melodies are mainly going to be able to take their 1/1s so they can't death touch us. Help us get through on the ground. Yeah, no, with the like stuff surrounding Cyberpunk, I was honestly thinking about not streaming it on Friday, and I loaded up one of the Deus Ex games instead. I was like, I could just replay through Deus Ex on stream. I wouldn't mind that. Oh, this hand is too greedy. That hand is not greedy enough, but we do have an opt. Come on, land. Hako, no? I'm so confused, Jeff. Kill my Storm Tamer, I dare ya. If you don't, you're in a world of hurt. Fenlurker, okay, okay. Oh, opponent. So, like, this could get really annoying, him ripping things out of my hand. I'm like, who's Paco? Oh, it's my opponent, derp. So my opponent plays a whole bunch of Fenlurkers, and they play a whole bunch of Thoughtseizes. That could be a problem, I guess. Watch this Brineborn Cutthroat get murdered. So that's the problem, is my opponent's probably just going to have an S-ton of really cheap removal now. Which is kind of an issue for this deck. That's one of the reasons I don't like playing against Mono Red Burn. It's because Burn just has spells that just go straight and kill all my creatures real fast for very little mana. Okay, let's see. Do we got a pump for the night? Nope, no pump for the night. Okay. Yeah, no. On the plus side, they don't have a 1 mana spell. That's what that tells me. Come on, I'm waiting for a healthy pump on that night. That's all I want. Just pump that night. Pump it real good. I could just do that. I can also wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I missed a single point of damage right there. There we go, there's the night pump. Do we want to just take it? Nah. Alright, Lance, we're done drawing you now. Yeah, that 1 point of damage that I missed by not attacking last turn, who knows, it might be a thing. I doubt it. But these Castle Lochthwains, they could just be drawing a bunch of cards and losing a bunch of life. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Man, that card just doesn't seem good. Like, you play Fatal Push over that every single time, I think? Like, I know they're playing Devotion and all, but that card just doesn't seem good. Oh shoot, they're doing the mono castle play. Okay. That's a little bit annoying. Haha, take this. The tides have turned. Now you're gonna lose the battle. Wow, we're drawing so many land. Whatever. They are, in essence, losing the race right now, so... If I can draw, like, one non-land card, I think we'll be okay. Do I make him pay for that? Yeah, I make him pay for that. Or do I just sack that? He's on a 2-turn. Yeah. Make him think I have multiple counterspells. Joke's on you, I only have one and it doesn't do much. Because you have 1,000,000 mana. And now it does slightly more. Come on, take your damage. Take your damage. Fenlurker, like, I like the card, it's okay, but I think it's way too slow for Historic. I think that is a card you just don't play. I mean, yeah, he's playing Devotion, whatever. But still don't think you play this card in Historic. So you got 7 mana, what you gonna do with it? Not enough, apparently. Like, I am a little bit worried about a Gary coming down. Because a Gary is problems. That will actually single-handedly get him back into this game. Okay, no. No Gary. Woo! Silver tier 3. Slowly getting up there. Alright, just for... Let's open a pack really quick. Just for a little bit of variety, I'm going to switch over to Standard and pull out the old green-black brew and see what happens with that. Do we want a bad wizard or a disruption? So just really quick look at the deck that we're checking out now. Back to my green-black kind of janky deck. We'll see what Standard has to offer. It's a deck I have not touched for a while, have not worked on at all. Just got to fill out the black lineup now. I'm not sure what that comment is in reference to. Oh, the orbs. Yes, the mastery tree. Like, play Blood Chiefs over that bad devotion card. Okay, so we have a turn 2 snake guaranteed. We don't have much beyond that. Man, this is greedy. Our opponent's going first. Yeah, sure, screw it. Greed is good, right? Okay. Okay, we got a forest. I don't know why I didn't just play that turn timber. And we're punting right away. The APAC lands. They're so pretty. Kind of surprised that they didn't do some of the Euro lands. I mean, I know we got some of them. We got, like, the, yeah, Never Punished, indeed. Hey, Magic is my game, Junior. You know, why would I ever be punished in my own game, right? Whereas, like, FF, that's where I'm punished constantly, so it makes up for it. But yeah, we did get a couple of the Euro lands. We got the beautiful... Oh, see, there's the punishment. We got the beauteous sunflower fields. can't remember words. My opponent's gonna think I'm on mono green. Yeah, don't worry, we're about to get punished here. Yeah, I mean, technically it's still getting punished. Yeah, guaranteed land drop. Attempt to get a Vivian going. This is blue-black control that we're dealing with here. I haven't seen the latest versions of it outside of... Oh, there's a Gadwick. Okay. He taps it. My Vivian takes some damage. He taps it, my Garrick dies. Or I just kill his Gadwick and don't take the damage. We can't kicker it. See? Punished. Punished for sure. So, Vivian it is. Hey, we got another land. Kind of. Maybe. Badly.
I love making new friends.
She loves making new friends, apparently. No, my pop-out keeps going away. Wait, Jeff, you love making new friends, or your pop-out keeps going away? I'm confused. Man, why you gotta do this? What did my Vivian ever do to you?
How savage.
How savage indeed. Never mind. It's for the best.
Beauty lies in variation.
Shoot, so do I just try and jam this Great Henge right away? And run it right into a counterspell? I mean, it can't be countered yet if they're playing that, right? Maybe? I'm not exactly sure what my opponent's on, so I'm just going to play badly. If he doesn't have a counterspell for it, he's in trouble, but I have a feeling there's definitely a counterspell here. Didn't say please. Okay, yeah. Yep. So, my Vivian's gonna die. That's very unfortunate. Now I know a bit more what I'm dealing with here, though. I'm used to dealing with rogues, but not like rogues with Gadwick. So this is actually quite a bit more controlling than I'm used to. But we'll see what happens. Probably gonna lose horribly. Horrible losses. Come at me, bro. Man, he's getting rid of my land.
Don't worry. I hold grudges.
It's okay, Vivian, I do too. Grudge mode engaged. So hopefully there's not a counterspell, because this other Great Henge into a Scoose seems okay. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. It's a good start. It's a really good start. So this Great Henge is going to be pretty big for us. Is he forgetting that I have reach? Oh. Sad days. There goes a questing beast. I think he's forgetting that I have reach. And I think he just realized I have reach. Okay, Heartless Act. There we go. Scoos is going to be able to eat a couple things. Okay. Okay. So that changes everything. That means we need to hope to draw a second black mana, I think.
You want to fight me? That's precious.
Like, that's just terrible for us. So we have to get rid of this thing, too.
I call,
Oh,
and Decoria
okay.
answers.
Okay. That's decent. That's real decent. Deck is currently not punishing me.
I love the smell of malt. Buckle under our might.
Dude, you weren't dead there. You definitely weren't dead. Okay. You were not dead. But, you know, whatever. Okay, so he's doing that shenanigans to me, which is real annoying. I really don't like it. So, we're just going to bring in a whole bunch of things. No, more like Saved by the Questing Beast and the Trampled Death Touch. The Great Hinge. Okay. I do really like Blood Chiefs. It really helps if I draw a second black mana, though. Chevelle is too slow. Murderous Rider is too slow. Grakmaw is not the right place for this. Primal Might, I can get blown out way too easily. Gargaroth is also too slow. Nissa, I really like you, but you're too slow. Gonna go down a Garrick because it can just look bad at times also. Vivian's fine because she makes us reachers. What's one more cut? I think we're cutting the other Garrick. Basically, the goal is to land a Great Henge and not get milled out. Yeah, this hand seems fine. Also, I need to see plenty of my hand disruption here. Ooh, okay, so do that into that and then play those. Yeah, I think that's how we're doing this. Definitely don't want him to get to that end of the story, but I think for the time being we need to take this drown. And I think next turn we're going to grab the end of the story. This cost us 4 life, but I think it's worth it. Oh yeah. We're definitely playing creatures one by one this game. Because nothing is surviving. Let's see if he attacks this right away. Just eliminates it, or if he just goes ahead and essence capture. Okay, no. Yeah, I've been watching Mandalorian. I'm currently caught up. The last couple episodes have just made me hate the child so much. Child is a little sociopath, psychopath. What you gonna do about this 2-1, huh? Huh? What you gonna do, buddy? Aw. Man, my 2-1 was coming for you. Alright. Let's just play these creatures one by one. Eventually he'll run out of things to kill. See, I was specifically saying the child as to not spoil anything. That, and because his name is real dumb. I mean, it's basically a spoiler. Haha. Eat this. You can't kill it. Oh, but you can counterspell it. That's fine. I'd rather him counter that than this Agadeem's. We just playing mono questing beast. Hey, Junior, it's okay. As long as you don't tell him that the child dies in, like, episode 5, then it's fine. Oh god, are you gonna Zereth me? Or are you gonna... No, he's not gonna Zereth me. Okay, let's get rid of his shark. That's fine. Come on, land. Okay. Hey, Agadeem's. Boop and boop. Yeah, that's totally Junior. Come on, Jeff. How'd you not know that by now? Oh god. I really want a Great Henge. Please, for the love of God, give me a Great Henge. My opponent is just not being nice here. Gonna leave my questing beast alone. Actually, no, I'm not. I mean, I would say the child is a proper name also. He still even calls him the child. I mean, a lot of people are still, you know, yelling on the internet, just calling him Baby Yoda. And we all know how not true that is. Or is it? Am I spoilering things I don't know about? I might be spoiling things I don't know about. I don't really know. Man, oh, Castle Locthwain. That's literally what I was going to ask for. The castle is so good. No, unfortunately. We already have our full number of accounts going. That, and I'm not sure if I could talk Franny into it anyway. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's about all we know, but we also don't know. I mean, he could be a clone. That's what I'm saying. He literally could be a Yoda clone. Because if we're looking at the timeline, he was a young Padawan when. Should I just counter that and kill my thing? Nah. Alright, friend, let's see what you do about this. I should have done this before. Whatever. Then the question is also, how many other Jedi are still even alive and out there? Oh, Great Henge. Actually, both those cards would have been great. Oh man, take one, Soaring Thought Thief. Take one, Evildoer. Oh, that was not a great card to draw. Scry does nothing. It does nothing. Yeah, that's fine. Kill my thing. I see how it is. Yeah, we might spoil too much. See, that's... Oh, Cling to Dust, really? Okay, that's annoying. See, that's why I'm thinking that, like, the cloning might actually be a thing, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's all just fan theories, you know? Take one, Evildoer. All the Lotus Cobras in the world. Beware my army of snakes. Like, I think I was more afraid of my opponent's deck before they switched over to all the kill spells. All the kill spells just means this game's gonna go long. And I have a Castle Locthwain, so I'm okay with this game going long. This is unfortunate that he keeps being able to cling to dust. Yeah, Cobras. Cobras get there. Get there, Cobras. Kind of want my Cling to Dust to get rid of their Cling to Dust, but, you know, is what it is. Maybe he'll pass the turn and actually let me get to the point where I can escape. Oh, no. Because you can't Cling to Dust in response to the escape trigger. Whatever. Whatevs, whatevs. Okay. That's a good answer. That's a very good answer. Wagyu brisket Wellington? I'm very confused as to why somebody would use Wagyu brisket for Wellington. That's like not what you would use for Wellington, but you know, whatever. You got auto-modded for using that word, Jeff. Good job. And now you've made it so everyone else that uses that word. Too much food, prawn. Creeper indeed. This Poly K is going to come in really handy. Cards in deck. I had like 30. Didn't really matter. Our opponent was only drawing 1 card a turn, and that Scoos kind of screws them over because even if they play the Zareth, they can't really get anything because of the Scoos. I don't know. Is what it is. We went 4-0 in our laddering there, so I'm pretty happy. True, we're down in like silver and gold, but you know, is what it is. Well, I think that is going to do it for the day because we are getting close to dinner time, and Jeff is making me hungry with talks of food prawn. So I'm just gonna call it at that. Thanks for joining me, guys, as usual. Of course, I will be back on Friday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and we're going to start our run of Cyberpunk. It's gonna be great. We'll see what shenanigans get up to there. As per usual, you can find me at MinTG2020 live on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The VODs will be posted, of course, on the next day, the next morning generally, over on YouTube at MinTG2020. And if you're looking for some Magic singles, some Yu-Gi-Oh singles, some Pokemon singles, some Final Fantasy TCG singles, feel free to head over to epicgamingpdx.com. Check them out. You can find your singles and sealed product needs over there. They're a great local card shop in the Portland area. Just give my shout out after the Magic stream. Otherwise, that is going to do it. I will see everyone again on Friday. Yes, we can discuss theories in the Discord. That is for sure. Jeff never goes to the Discord, so it's fine. It's fine. Well, have a good one, guys. I will talk to you later.